Well guys, it's a brand new day and you know what that means. It's time for the latest entry into the Dhar Mann protest anime. And boy, today is a juicy one. Now since my last video on the Dhar Mann protest, a lot has come out from both Dhar Mann and the actors. So I'm once again here to update you guys on the situation, not really to share my opinion because, you know, once again, don't want to get sued. So I'm going to do my best to keep it objective and not say anything silly. Now what has come out has mostly been in the form of social media posts or like Instagram or YouTube stories. So there's going to be a lot of reading in this video, so I'm going to have Dhar Mann's latest video playing in the background because, well, he is still uploading amidst all of this. Hey, more power to you, Dar. So while we discuss, enjoy Evil Nanny Kidnaps Kid for Ransom. I can't wait for the next Dhar Mann special. Millionaire doesn't pay his actors a fair wage. He lives to regret it. So grab your popcorn and prepare for a lot of reading and a lot of drama with absolutely no personal opinion injected into it, okay? I promise. Let's begin. Please subscribe. Alright, so we're going to start off with the Dhar Mann Studios public statement that came out once all these protests begun. I included them at the end of my last video, but I didn't really address them, I just kind of put them in for context, so we're going to be going into them today, and the statement is as follows. Hey Dhar Mann fam, we want to address the recent protests by some of our actors. First off, we'd like to thank the many actors and fans who have reached out to show their support, gratitude, and solidarity to us. We truly appreciate you. For background, we did arrange an in-person hour-long meeting with actor representatives and two of our most senior leaders, including our head of production, in hopes of understanding concerns prior to any protest. During that meeting, the actor representatives refused to communicate any concerns and instead walked out. Okay, so this is the first thing I'd like to talk about. Now, this is a tough situation because on the Dhar Mann Studios story, I couldn't find it anymore, I apologize, but they had like a copy of the letter that the actors sent to Dhar Mann, and as long as that's actually the letter they sent, admittedly so, they didn't say that Dhar Mann had to be there, they said they would appreciate Dhar Mann's attendance. So, to be fully honest, I kind of understand the studio's stance that it was a bit unprofessional for them to walk out when Dhar Mann wasn't there when they didn't really say he had to be. Should he have been? In my opinion, yes, but the things I heard made it seem like they were like adamant in the letter about Dhar Mann being there. Doesn't seem like that's actually the case. The statement continues, in regards to actor compensation, we believe we pay our actors competitively compared to our peers. Our rates for actors vary, extras receive $18 an hour, and speaking role actors receive $33 to $44 an hour. We are proud to have given thousands of actors job opportunities, and last year alone paid millions of dollars in actor compensation. Now this is where they kind of start to lose me. I am really curious as to who the peers are that they are talking about. In my mind, they're either talking about like independent filmmakers or like YouTube acting gigs. Either way, not a great look. I am from Arkansas, and I have some family who do stuff like independent movies and commercials and stuff like that, and I can tell you that even in Arkansas, you know, the capital of acting in America, those rates are not competitive. I imagine it's even less competitive in LA. And then, if we're talking about competitive in the scope of YouTube acting gigs, well then, yeah, I'd kinda hope so, Dhar Mann. You are only like the biggest channel of this sort on the entire internet. You are the competition, Dhar Mann. There's nobody above you. None of your peers even come close to your views and your kind of fan base, so it's not really that big of a deal that you're paying competitively compared to them. Plus, from my understanding, most actors get paid daily rates instead of hourly rates, so just not a great look here. 2 slides later, all details including pay rate and length of the production are specified in the offer letter, and the actor has the freedom to accept or decline the project. If accepted, actors are always paid shortly after a production wraps, typically within 72 hours. So this is something that I'm sort of on the fence about. Do I think that it's unfair that these actors are not getting paid a fair wage in comparison to the kind of money Dhar Mann is making from their work? No, I don't. However, you can't really argue with this. If you accept a job offer knowing the rate of pay is lower than you'd like, then it's kind of hard to really understand the thought process of ever accepting it. Do I think these rates are fair? No. Do I think they are too low? Yes. But if I was offered a job that I thought the rate of pay was too low, I wouldn't accept it. So I understand where both sides are coming from here. I know a lot of the actors that are protesting have been around for a while, and maybe they assume that once Dhar Mann got to the point he's at now, he'd start paying more before, and I can totally understand that stance. But for the people who came on once Dhar Mann was already this huge name, I mean, yes, the pay is too low, but if you agreed to it, you agreed to it. Alright, so this next slide reads, occasionally we have stopped working with actors. This is typically due to conduct complaints from fellow actors, complaints from minor actors' parents, complaints from crew members, or an actor displaying unprofessionalism on or off set. We take complaints seriously and try to ensure every person has the best experience possible in working with us. So this is really just one person's word versus another. Could all of these actors who are saying that if you talk bad about Dhar Mann or the studio or whatever, you're gone be lying? Sure. They could be, but personally right now, I am more inclined to believe the individuals who are putting their livelihood on the line to protest something they think is unfair, more than the PR response of a giant studio. Like I said in my last video, I have heard the sentiment that if you talk bad, you're gone far before any of this stuff really came out. So this is nothing new. This is not like a brand new stance that people are taking to try and make Dhar Mann look bad. This has been happening. So I don't know if I really buy anything on this slide. Alright, so this next thing I want to talk about is the entire situation about taxes, because I actually got something wrong in my last video. I said that this year the tax forms did not come from Dhar Mann in a timely manner. Well, an actor informed me that that is not the case. It wasn't that Dhar Mann didn't provide the tax forms in a timely manner this year, it's that he never has provided any of the actors with tax forms. I spoke with an actress who had worked with Dhar Mann for over 4 years, and in that entire time, she never received a single tax document from Dhar Mann. Dhar Mann's response to this was that they pay their actors through PayPal, and PayPal issues a 1099, which is like kind of halfway not really true. There's been a bunch of changes in what PayPal is actually required to send you and when they're actually required to send it to you. And from what I understand, up until last year, as long as you didn't get paid over $20,000 through PayPal, they did not have to send you a 1099. It's changed now, so this year the actors should be getting things from PayPal, but you know, you never know. One thing I will say, and I'm not implying anything here, I'm simply stating a personal opinion on the use of PayPal for paying contractors. Now, I'm a big networker. I really like to expand my business circle. I like to learn new things, and I'm always trying to figure out the correct way to do things. Because in business, if you don't do it the right way, I promise you it will catch up to you. And being a person who is technically self-employed by Google, I have to pay myself. It's a bunch of tax nonsense, but legally, I have to pay myself. And from what I've learned from talking to people, generally, businesses, especially ones as big as Dhar Mann Studio, do not do their payroll through PayPal unless they're trying to do some interesting things involving taxes. I'm not saying Dhar Mann is doing any of that. He's probably not. But I've learned that that is generally a sign of maybe not great tax practices. Just putting that out there. So those are the main things I wanted to cover today. There are more things coming out from the actors, but it's a lot of the same sort of stories, just different circumstances and different people, but generally it's all the same idea. A lot of the actors are now coming out and saying the opposite, that it's been a great working experience and stuff like this, and you know what, for some, I'm sure it has been. Dhar Mann seems to really be harping on his stories about the people who are saying that their experience has been good, and not really addressing the negative experiences that are coming out, which is definitely an interesting tactic to just ignore all the negatives and just overwhelm people with positives. Just because some actors have had good experiences does not mean that the negative ones are not valid. I'm sure both sides are saying things that are probably not 100% true. There's always 3 sides to every story. In this case, one side is the actors, one side's Dhar Mann, and the other side is the truth. As it stands right now, it seems like Dhar Mann's response is kind of skirting around certain things that the actors have been saying, kind of indirectly addressing everything, but not really like pushing back against it. Kind of like he's indirectly saying things that seem to go against the actor's stories, but not saying this did happen or this didn't happen, which I think is the best way to respond to something, just to be honest, and then try to move past it if you're in the wrong. Just skirting around it is not going to do anybody any good. Well, what do you guys think? I'm sure more will come out as the days pass. Right now, I'm not really sure. I mean, it seems like both sides have some valid points. I think at the end of the day, though, Dhar Mann is still kind of just a YouTuber, and this really needs to be coming from him. This is 100% just a PR team putting together what they think sounds the best for the public. None of this is coming from Dhar Mann, and being this head of the company who's like changing lives and is trying to be this guy who has this brand and this character, I really think this stuff should be coming from him directly, and it would mean a lot more. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and walk on over to that subscribe button and touch it. It's free. It won't cost you anything. But for now, that's all I have for you today. Bye.
Subscribe.